Welcome to a quicker, more condensed version of my usual performance analysis videos. Before we get into the first test, I want to get some frequently asked questions out of the way. If I change my console's resolution settings, will the game run better than this video? No, it will not. Honkai Star Rail, similar to Genshin Impact, runs at 4K regardless of your console's set output resolution. Running your console at 1080p and or 1440p would give you the exact same results you see here in this video. How big is this version of the game and where is it installed? The game is 57.64GB and I have it installed on the base internal storage on my original fat model disc PS5. Why does this game's image quality look so soft? That is because it uses TAA for its anti-aliasing solution. The most prominent evidence of it using TAA is the jitter you see on certain pixel edges, like here in this example, this example, and this example. Will VRR help? Yes and no. VRR, aka variable refresh rate, is a technology that allows your display to refresh at the same frame rate as your game, therefore smoothing out the pacing of frames. While it doesn't get you a 60 or 120 FPS experience, it does give you a smoother experience than not having VRR. Unfortunately, Honkai Star Rail tends to frequently dip below 40 FPS when using most Nihility characters as well as Dr. Ratio or Jingliu. VRR only works on PS5 if the frame rate stays above a 40 FPS window, so if it dips below, it turns off and it will no longer be paced correctly with your display. Will the PS5 Pro bring 120 FPS support? While this is purely speculation, especially since we only have leaks so far, the massive GPU gains but measly CPU clock boost means no. The CPU on the current PS5 is the main bottleneck for its performance woes in Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. The only way I can see 120 FPS being achievable in both games on PS5 Pro would be if it uses the rumored PSSR and a frame rate interpolation method similar to AMD's FSR3. Now we move on to the first test, launch and load times. This section will be played at 2x speed and the results will be displayed in seconds and 60ths of a second. Now onto the reasoning for shortening this analysis. As you can see here, Golden Hour is still performing incredibly poorly in version 2.1 just like we saw in version 2.0. Since I have already put over 14 hours into this version on PS5, I have decided that the performance is virtually identical to version 2.0, so I'm just going to record and show you the worst case scenario, especially if you have Acheron. Don't worry, there are no spoilers in this video. Once again, I will stop talking and let you watch a real-time fight with the Swarm and Golden Gears.
Eternal. All will be swept away by the wind.
Time for a buzz. This is double speed.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
Yin and yang.
On the still waters of oblivion.
Time for a buzz. This is double speed.
Destiny for oblivion. I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
Converge and awaken. No matter.
All will be swept away by the wind.
Human creations.
Eternal.
Time for a buzz.
still waters of oblivion. Again.
Stay away. Yin and yang. This is double speed.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall. I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
All will be swept away by the wind.
Time for a buzz.
Destined for oblivion. Again. Familiar.
This is double speed.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall. I weep for the departed. It too shall fall. On the still waters of oblivion.
So there you have it. Unfortunately, Honkai Star Rail still has some miserably poor performance when compared to Genshin Impact, but at least similar to Genshin, it is fun to play. You won't be losing any battles due to the poor performance, but unless you have a VRR display, you will probably be slightly annoyed with the frequency of these drops. Thanks for watching, and I implore you to please leave a like and a comment so that way more people can see this video recommended to them. If this video fails to get a higher view duration than the previous ones, I'm afraid I will no longer bother covering Honkai Star Rail's updates on this channel. Once again, I thank you for watching.
What did you say?